All right, welcome back to Once Again. We're here with our podcast. My name is Kyle. This is my buddy Parker. We're going to be talking about the Seahawks game, offense, defense, special teams. There's a lot to go into it, especially with our rookie class. They are playing lights out. Parker, do you have any thoughts on this game as we're getting into this?
Yeah, my initial takeaway looking at the scoreboard and actually watching the game play out is our defense finally stepped up. And, what I was talking about last week, my primary concern was our pass rush. And this is a week where I believe it was 4 sacks against Kyler Murray. And, he's statistically speaking, and I think if you watch him play, the eye test tells you that Kyler Murray can get around the field quick. So 4 sacks on a quarterback like Kyler Murray, that was my big takeaway from probably our biggest area of opportunity that I could see up until now in the season.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. It does kind of worry me a little bit, because, last time we had a good defensive showing was against Denver. And as you can see, Denver's not really a great team out there right now. I do want to make a correction. I hate to, point this out, but it was actually 6 sacks.
Six. Wow.
Yeah. So it's always good to when you hear that number 6 for sacks. Sacks, we want to make sure that we're getting pressure on the QB consistently, getting pressures. Darrell Taylor had one of his best games of the season, which is great. I really do enjoy watching this brand of football. I hope that this continues into the future. One thing that I have to say, though, is our special teams, man, kind of let us down there a little bit. But seeing that one play where Kyler Murray started running out, I believe it was either in the third or fourth, he started running, he got the first down, and our rookie Kobe Bryant sucker punched that ball out. I seen people saying that he was in the wrong sport, should have been a boxer, because they all he does has been punching balls out. This is his 4th fumble, which is crazy because look at his primary on the other side is Tariq Woolen over there with his 4th interception in a row. So these rookies are contributing in a huge way, and a matter of fact, in a lot of ways. What's your favorite rookie so far on defense?
My favorite rookie so far on defense, I'm not going to say a rookie. I'm going to answer the question a little bit differently. It's the player that I've seen make the biggest jumps again, and that's our guy Jordan Brooks. He's continuing to lead the defense in an exceptional way. He's acting like a leader out there on the field. He's really needing to step up as that, not only like a physical presence, but that vocal and emotional presence of that defense. And I think we're seeing him do that. He's taking that next step into becoming a defensive leader on our team, which is really what we need. Moving forward as we try to develop a good defense and build on this offense that has been, for the most part, keeping our defense in ball games this year. This week that was the flip side. Our team only put up 19 points, and we held the Cardinals to no offensive touchdowns. As you mentioned, our special teams kind of let us down there a little bit, and I'm not too worried about what we saw out of our special teams. I think Michael Dixon's a great punter. I think he makes a lot of great plays throughout a season that a lot of punters in the league just wouldn't do. There's a couple of them out there that you can think of, I'm sure, that are high quality special teams punters, but from a standpoint of what we're looking at as Seattle Seahawks fans, I think that one blocked punt in the season when you're backed up in your goal line, it doesn't say a lot about your actual special teams. It's not very indicative of what we're going to see for the rest of the season out of that group.
I hate to have to start out saying I disagree with you a little bit. I like Jordan Brooks. I think he's a great selection, but he still has some room to improve. Being on his 3rd or 4th year here, going onto that. I think he's great. He's great at tackling. He gets to the other person, he tackles him, gets him down. That's exactly what he should do. He's a tackle machine. I'm not really looking for a tackle machine though. That's what Pete Carroll likes. He likes someone that just does their job. But I need him to do a little bit more in coverage. I need to see a little bit more in pass coverage. If he starts doing that pass coverage, we might have another Bobby Wagner here for another 10 years, which would be great to have. My favorite rookie, though, I'm going to have to go Tariq Woolen. Wow. 153 taken in the draft right before Richard Sherman. He was taken at 154. They were both wide receivers converted to cornerbacks. They both have 4 interceptions as rookie years, which is crazy because Tyreek has had 4 interceptions in 4 straight games, which means that he actually tied a record. There's only 7 NFL players that's ever done that have a pick in 4 straight games as a rookie. So it's pretty cool to see the trajectory that this kid has. It's cool. I definitely want to see all our rookies go, and it's definitely a great performance. But this is an offense that they're crippled in the backfield. Their wide receivers are crippled. They don't have DeAndre Hopkins. He's suspended, so we really didn't get to see a lot besides Kyler Murray running. He did rush for 100 yards still. So I would like to clean that up. This is more of like that mentality of bend, don't break. Now let's transition over to the offensive side of the ball, which Geno kind of struggled, but I'm not going to put this on Geno. I'm going to put this a little bit more on the offensive line. They gave up 5 sacks, and he still didn't turn the ball over, and he was still very proficient. If you watch around the league, you see a lot of these other podcasts, people talking about this. They're like, oh, Geno came back down to earth finally. I mean, the dude still played really well. He had over 180 yards passing, 0 interceptions. He didn't have no touchdowns, but he was under a lot of duress. And, the Cardinals' defensive line, they got J.J. Watt and a couple other people on there that are really good. Kenneth Walker, wow, I'm so happy we got him, because looking at the injury that Rashad Penny went through, he's just so injury prone. I'm glad a lot of people weren't happy that we took Kenneth Walker in this draft. They were like, why do we need a running back? We got Rashad Penny, we got DJ Dallas, Travis Homer. But look how fragile these other running backs that we have. Now, not only we're seeing how important it was for depth, but how good of a skill player he actually is. Because where would we be without Kenneth Walker? Now, I'm going to pass the mic over here to my buddy Parker. Parker, what are your thoughts on the offense?
So as you mentioned, Geno Smith definitely struggled, came back to earth, as you just brought up. But I still think we're going to see high-level play out of Geno going into the year. You sold me on him a little bit in the beginning of the season, telling me, hey, don't sleep on Geno. Don't sleep on Geno. He's going to turn up right around week 6. Here we are, week 6. We're sitting at 3-3 with a 500 record, and we're tied for the lead in the NFC West, which I'm pretty sure if you ask anybody going into the season, no one would have expected it. It was all about the Rams, all about the Niners. But here we are, what would it be, a third of the way through the season, and the Seahawks are playing good competitive football. Geno Smith, while he did struggle a little bit, he didn't throw any interceptions, no turnovers, which is all you can ask for in a defensive battle game. My big takeaway, as mentioned, is Kenneth Walker. Man, watching Kenneth Walker run the ball, he just looked fantastic. There's really no way around that. Kenneth Walker running the ball looked like he was running with intention. He's running the ball hard, especially losing Rashad Penny the week prior. Not a lot of players are able to step up and fill up, running back one shoes when you lose that guy in the backfield. And he did a great job. 21 carries, 97 yards, a touchdown. He broke away for a big run to the right side of the field. He just, he came up in the hole, stepped out to this, bounced right outside, and, just had a bunch of daylight. He ran the ball great. Noah Fant also finally had some impact in the offense, which was great since we saw him in return for that Russell Wilson trade. And, since he's come to Seattle, he's been struggling to get a rhythm going. And, I think in general, we saw some good things out of our offense. And hopefully next week we can really keep it going into, the rest of the season. Looking at the schedule here, it looks like we have the Chargers next week. I think we can win that ball game. I'm confident we can win that ball game, especially after watching what Chargers just did last night against the Denver team that's struggling. Now, while Denver's defense has been the lifeline of their team, the Chargers should have probably won that game, with ease multiple times, and they did squeeze by with the win. But no thanks to Justin Herbert or that high-powered offense. It was all down to special teams and defense. So kind of to circle back onto the Seattle Seahawks, I like our team now. I like where we're at. I like what I saw from them this weekend in a tough win, and I like what I see going forward.
Yeah, no, definitely. I do remember all the conversations, prior to week 1 and then week 1 happening. I told you multiple times. I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so. I said give it to week 6 or week 7 and you'll start to see the defense start to take a mold. Okay, these guys are rookies. There's going to be some errors along the way. But we're going to be starting to play more physical, sound football. One thing that I'm so happy that we did this game is we took what's that linebacker, Cody Barton, off the field. Cody Barton has been letting up so many tackles. He's not been good in coverage. And now that he was off, he only had 20% of the snaps. That's the lowest he had all season. And we played our best defensive game without him. I think we should keep it going that way. I think we should keep doing the two-man front up front like that. It's definitely working. Yeah, there's, going on to the special teams like you were saying, that one play where Michael Dixon tried to run because he thought he seen an open. We do pay that dude $19 million a year, I believe. Even though we're paying him $19 million a year to take care of the ball. If Pete Carroll does not say to, do a fake punt, don't run the ball there, I do like the fact that our special teams, what's our kicker's name? I'm kind of
Myers.
Yep, Jason Myers. He kind of missed a couple field goals prior weeks. Thank you for that. Just a little brain fart there. But seeing him actually kick 3 field goals on Sunday, really helped a lot. It's definitely nice to be able to see that we're getting consistent work from them.
Fortunately, we haven't needed the field goal kicker as much as we would have anticipated entering the year.
No, I definitely agree. So this was more of a defensive game on Sunday. Now, I want to talk about this upcoming matchup against the Chargers. So Justin Herbert, they just beat the Broncos yesterday. Sorry, it's just a long day. Just got off work with my buddy Parker here. We work at the same building, same office. So we're just coming straight into this. But Justin Herbert, he threw 37 completions yesterday. He beat Russell Wilson in a defensive showdown. It was an ugly game. I do, since we're talking about, the Chargers, before we get to the Chargers, I want to talk about this Russell Wilson trade. Hands down, we won this trade through the 6 weeks. What are your thoughts so far through 6 weeks? I didn't think that we'd be running to the bank smiling with our hands in our pocket with bags.
Yeah, I think everybody, as that Russell Wilson trade kind of, the dust settled, everybody looked at what they were actually going to be getting in return for Russell, and Denver was looking at what they got, of course, which was Russell Wilson and a draft pick. Was it a 5th or 3rd rounder? Or maybe a 3rd rounder. So they got Russell Wilson and a draft pick, which at the time was like, hey, we're losing our franchise. As a Seahawks fan for the last, decade and a half, losing Russell Wilson was almost, as much as it's tough to lose him, it was kind of like I felt like I lost a little bit of my fan identity. As much as I'm a fan of the Seahawks, I really am still rooting for Russell Wilson in Denver. I like that guy. He's a corny dude. But, man, some of my best years of watching football was with him behind center in Seattle. So I'm not going to sit here and take away what he did for that city by any means at all, nor do I think that's what you're getting to. But, boy, looking at that trade, man, it's looking like we won it. We got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, a 5th, and Shelby Harris, Noah Fant, Drew Lock. Going into the year, you could make an argument that Drew Lock was going to get the starting quarterback job, which obviously is, entering the year, they decided to go with Geno Smith, and since that's obviously looked like an excellent decision. But we're going to have 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and, we clearly got majority of the assets in that situation, and Russell Wilson is struggling in Denver right now. Their team has been within 3 points of every game they've played entering the 4th quarter, and of those games they're 2-4. I think that has a lot to do with the quarterback. When it comes to winning football games in the final quarter of the game, it is largely dependent on the quarterback and how the game is managed. And I think that Russell Wilson, as much as I think at the end of the year, who's going to get the blame for this is going to be Nathaniel Hackett. Right now, Russell Wilson, it's tough to watch.
No, I definitely agree. Russell Wilson should be taking all that stress off of Nathaniel Hackett. That's what he was brought in for. Nathaniel Hackett, he's a first-year head coach. Of course he's not going to be crazy good. But, man, no one saw this coming, the drop-off of Russell Wilson. I'm not gonna lie. As a Seahawks fan that's been a Seahawks fan before Russell Wilson was there, it's really nice seeing Russell Wilson fail. I know that you're a huge Russell Wilson fan, and it's cool to to want him to do good over in Denver. But I actually liked Denver before Russell Wilson went over there, and then he went over there, and then now I'm not a big fan of Denver because he's over there. He left us, kind of tore me apart. It's like, why would you want out? You broke a good marriage, and now that he's gone, I'm happy. One, he's gone, and I'm happy he's failing. But watching that last game against the Colts, seeing someone that's done so many good things in Seattle actually kind of left me conflicted because I felt bad for him. Because everybody was bashing on him so hard. But looking at it as this point too, after every game after the two last games yesterday and then the game against the Colts on Thursday Night Football, he had a torn lat. And then yesterday he had a hamstring. Why does he keep coming up with these injuries? But that's beside the point. Let's get over to this Chargers game. So this Chargers, are we at home or are we away?
We are at home. We are in Seattle, Lumen Field.
Beautiful. It's great to hear because Seattle, it is loud and we are proud. I just got to say this right now that the Chargers are as real as it gets. They are a 4-2 team. We are 3-3. We're 1-2 away.
I'm going to retract my statement. We are actually away. We are going to be at SoFi.
Okay, so we are away. So not as good as I thought it was going to be. But going against the Chargers here, this is a real team. They have a struggling offensive line right now, and off of the defensive performance, if our defense could come out there and do what they did against Arizona to the Chargers, which is going to be hard because that boy Justin Herbert, he's a man. He's not a boy. He's a man. He's got a real arm, and he is ready to use it. He's a gunslinger. Then they have good backs back there. Austin Eckler, he's as real as it gets. They're going to be getting Joey Bosa back. I don't think he's getting him back this week. And I don't want to wish no injuries, but it's always good to have a break, when you're going against guys like that. So I, wish them a healthy recovery. And going against this defense, though, they do have
some dudes.
Yeah. What's one dude in particular that played for the Raiders?
The Raiders, Khalil Mack.
Khalil Mack, my bad. Yeah, no, Khalil Mack, he's as real as it gets as well, and I think Geno is going to be under some duress as well. So if we can just keep a clean pocket, have no flags on the offensive line, have at least 1 or 2 sacks instead of 5 sacks, he'll be able to deliver the ball more. I think our wide receivers are going to outduel the corners of the Chargers. So just being able to stay ahead of the chains is what's going to cause this game to win, and we got to continue to keep running the ball.
I like that prediction very much, certainly do. I am, what do I always say I am? I'm an objective football fan. So as much as I love my Seattle Seahawks, I look at every game and I don't necessarily look at the records, but I'm looking at the players, who's going to be on the field at that point in time, and what am I ultimately expecting the outcome to be. And I know I had mentioned previously, prior to even going into it, that I liked Seattle entering the game, and I like our chances at winning. If I was going to be putting money on this football game, I hate to say it, I'm going to probably be riding with the Chargers. I probably sound like a bad Seattle Seahawks fan, and to be honest, that's okay. I'm a big Hawks fan, for those out there that don't know. I like the Chargers. I like Herbert. Eckler, since week 5, has really got it rolling. He's scoring. He's running the ball downhill. He's putting his nose down and finding the goal line, and that's what you ask for out of your running back. So with Mike Williams, as little of a night as he had last night, I don't expect that to be a trend. And I like the Chargers moving forward, not only for this game, but they're going to be competing directly with the Chiefs in that AFC West, and especially since we've seen Denver and Oakland really significantly decline with what everybody was anticipating entering the season. I think that at this point it's come down to a 2-man race for the AFC West title, and the Chargers are going to have to win 13, 14 games if they want to go ahead and get that AFC West title.
No, definitely. I definitely agree. I think though that Seattle's going to pull this W off. Just for for a couple reasons. It's going to be very close. I think it's going to be a touchdown or underscore, which is really encouraging here. So looking at the Chargers, if they would have lost against the Denver Broncos, they would have been 3-3. Coming in this game against Seattle, it would be a must-win. I'm not saying that this isn't a must-win game for the Chargers, but it would really, really be a must-win game. And seeing that they're coming in off of a win, we're going to their home, we're coming off of a win. I feel like both team has momentum. Our defense has way more momentum, and now our offense needs to just keep rolling like it has been. And I think we can take the victory. Do you have a score prediction?
For the Seahawks Chargers, I'm going to go ahead and take, we're at SoFi, so it's a home game for the Chargers, which I'm sure if you're, a big football fan in the league, you know that a home game for the Chargers, more often than not, depending on the fan base, is going to end up being an away game for the Chargers. In SoFi, the Rams are not the Chargers aren't a particularly popular team in that area. I wouldn't be surprised if that building is split 50-50 between Hawks fans and Chargers fans. I'm going to take the Chargers. I think that it's going to be more of a low-scoring game than probably what's anticipated with two high-powered offenses, especially what we've seen so far in the year. Let's go ahead and roll with Chargers 28. It's going to be a close one because Seattle's offense is going to be right there competing with them. We're going to go with Chargers 28, Hawks 21. Hawks 24. They're going to get a field goal in there.
Gotcha. Yeah, so I'm going to actually take the Hawks. I'm going to say that we're going to win 34-27. That's what I'm going to take. They're going to miss an extra point.
All right, I like that you like the missed extra point after Dustin Hopkins goes out there on one leg and puts 4 through the uprights to score majority of the points in a Monday Night Football matchup. You're going to bet against the kicker that just made 4 in a row off on a bad leg?
No, I'm not saying he's going to miss a field goal. I'm saying he's missing an extra point. Yeah, I mean, he's not going to make 5. No, he's definitely, kudos to that guy. That guy is awesome. The first thing he said when he got to the mic, he said, I just need to say this first. He said, I need to praise my Lord Jesus Christ, my Savior. I was like, wow. I would not have expected someone to say that, in that moment there. So it just shows his mentality. Kudos to that guy. The Chargers are a really good team. But I'm taking 34-27. Do you have any other thoughts on the Seahawks this week?
Nothing left on the Seahawks other than I'm hoping they get that dub in a game I'm not expecting it. A game that I definitely would have picked the Chargers entering the season to win this one. I have no other takeaways or predictions for that game other than to look for Kenneth Walker to explode in a big way again.
I actually do have a question for you. Say you're taking Seattle to lose here. If Seattle wins, and say they win by 2 touchdowns, or say they hold the Chargers to 14 or under points, and then they score over 21 or 28 points, how would you feel about Seattle going through the rest of the year?
I think in a struggling NFC, if Seattle continues to put good stretches together and play good football against tough teams, I actually like Seattle coming out of the NFC. Not necessarily as my favorite. Now, there are some teams in the NFC that are going to be going down on my power rankings list personally, just because, the Buccaneers lost to the Steelers. And then the Cowboys lost in a competitive game to the Eagles. I don't think that game was very indicative of the Cowboys going forward as they get Dak Prescott back. I think that they're going to continue to kind of refine their game, continue to lean on the run, and they're probably going to win a lot of games going forward. Wouldn't even be surprised if they make the NFC Championship. I could see the Seahawks definitely, I could see the Seahawks getting the 4 seed by winning the NFC West if the Rams continue to struggle and the Niners continue to lose to teams like Atlanta Falcons. I definitely, I can't believe I'm saying this. I would give them a chance at winning the NFC West going forward for the rest of the year. That's not my prediction. At this point in time, I think I'm still going to go ahead and ride with the Rams just because I think that they're going to figure some stuff out with McVay. I bet you that with Akers probably getting moved in the next couple weeks, Henderson's going to step up in a big role. They're going to count on that run. They're going to get A-Rob, they're gonna have to get Allen Robinson involved in the offense, or they're not gonna be what they want to be, which is a high octane offense.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, it's really a toss up because you don't know who's good in the NFC West. You know, Seattle's shown that they're real. They're really real. The Niners, they're always injured, so that's their downfall. When they're fully healthy, they're practically unstoppable. The Rams, Matthew Stafford is looking garbage this year. He's thrown 6 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 2 pick sixes, so he's just not looking good at all. And then you have the Cardinals, which is just a complete dumpster fire as well. They're not going to get it together. And then you have Seattle, which are 3-3. I just cannot believe, all the negativity, all the hate. How people were saying that Seattle was going to go 2-15, 3-14. They were just giving this mad hate. It's good to be 3-3, 500 right now. Through 6 weeks, what would you, before the season started, before you even talk to me, what would you think that the Seahawks would be right now?
Seahawks right now, I probably would have predicted. Let me just go ahead and look at the matchups that we had. Because I would like to make an educated guess here, based on games that we've already had. I'm gonna go ahead and say we probably would have won 2 games realistically, no more than 2. That's probably what I cap us at. So 2-4 as of right now.
I try to tell you. That's all I could say is I tried to tell you, man. I was like, just wait till week 6 or 7. You're going to see a defensive turnaround. But, I think this is where we're coming to the end of the show. I do got to get home. I got to see my family. I got to help move some stuff around. So do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up this episode, Parker?
Final thoughts, final takeaways is these darn flies in my garage are getting pretty annoying. Hopefully next week we have this drawer shut and some better lighting up in here. But let's talk football. I just hope we continue to see what we saw to Kenneth Walker, because this was his first start where he's getting majority of the production, and watching him ball out on a tough defense was fantastic. I hope that going forward we continue to see that, because if we do, it's going to be a good career for Kenneth Walker in Seattle, and it's going to be good for our favorite team, man.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think Kenneth Walker is probably going to be in the conversation of top 5 running back next year. That's a bold prediction. It's a bold statement, but I'm going to rock with it. Kenneth Walker, top 5 running back next year. This is the Hawks family. We're out of here. Have a great day.